Hi and welcome. Now, today I have decided, to try out something different, but full with, enthusiasm and joy. Although the thing that I have decided, it's a little bit tricky. So the idea is that I wanted to, create something, compose something, but using the Logic stock plugins. I didn't want it to go and use some fancy, expensive, whatever, plugins. I wanted to use the stock plugins for the sound choice and even for mixing and mastering. And let me just show you the concept that I have, come up with. So let's just go. This is the session, and I feel that I have, finished this track. Obviously, it's not. I mean, for me, it's finished. But there are, if you are looking for, certainly that we will find, things that it's just not there. But basically, it is for me. It's good. So for the composition, as I told you, I used stock plugins for the sound. So for example, the first sound is this one. So I use the, if you go to the instruments, let me just show you. So if you go to the instrument, these are the stock instruments, right? And I have chosen, the retro synth, right? And with the retro synth, I started to look for sounds, and this is the sound that I came up. And I just did a very simple, chord progression, right? And then I have a arpeggiated, because okay, like this, I mean, it's like pom 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 pom, right? But we want something else, so I have arpeggiated. I use the stock arpeggiator again from Logic, and I came up with this. Right? So this is the main theme, right? Then secondary, again, it's the same thing, right? But this time I have left with chord stacking, like. Okay, then went with the bass. Oh no, here I have chosen, so it's the same, but one octave up. So together. They are complementary, and you know what I have said about the thing that I have shared in the last video. I told you about this, that sound selection is very, very important. They all have to be tuned in order to sound good. And then let's just advance. This is something. Now for this one, retro synth, but a different sound. Oh, this sound, let me just do it without effects. So this was the sound, right? And then we have the arpeggiation. And I choose, and this is from the stock also, this effect processing, step effects, and it makes the sound and the melody more interesting. And these are all stock, right? And now all of them together. Right, then we need bass again with the retro synth. I choose a bass, right? Big to bass, I remain with that one and just arpeggiate it. So without arpeggiation, but so together all of them are sounding like this. And then for the drum section, so we are going to the drum section, and in the drum section, so for the kick I use this drum synth and I tuned in the kick. So this is what it's interesting, and I'm repeating myself, but in my last video I told you about how important is the sound selection, but secondary, how important is to have all your instruments to be tuned in. So this is why I used from the stock plugin this drum synth, where the kick I can shape it and pitch it and tuning it with the composition. And this is how it sounds like. Let's just leave it. This is how it sounds just with the bass, for example. Then I don't know if you are hearing how well they sound together. And then, of course, needed a hi-hat, snare. So for this one, we have DMD. It's a drum machine designer, and this is cool. We have some stock kits, and in the stock kits we have all selection of drums, starting from kick, clap, snares, hi-hats, whatever. And if I put it on a different channel because I wanted to have an effect on it, and I didn't find it. How can I just put an effect separately, on just one thing? I mean, when I went here and enabled the reverb, I mean, the reverb is active on H, so I couldn't find, how can I, activate, make it active, the effect only on clap. So yeah, so I decided to put it just on a separate channel, the kick and the hi-hat, because I have the reverb. So what I have done is just putting on a reverb. So without reverb would be like this. This is how it sounded, the original. But if you listen with the composition, let me just play it in the composition. It's not that bad, but listen. This a little bit dimension. Then, of course, hi-hats. And the hi-hats, I used it from the same drum machine designer, the stock thing in Logic, and use the hi-hat open and the hi-hat pedal to create this. And then here, second part, I use the ride also. And I lifted the reverb because it was just giving nicely that space that I wanted. So let's just listen again all together. And a little bit of rising. So going to the mixing channel, so you can see all the sound selection now, like this drum synth machine. Yeah, that's drum machine designer. But this drum machine designer, they are loading it from the stock, from the factory sets, all these things, but are not active. So basically, what I did afterwards, I used the built-in the stock EQ and just EQ the tracks accordingly to the sounds that I was using, right? And then, so the second part, this part is what is not from stock, but these are just transition, just small elements. And here at the end, we have another, just to accentuate and change a little bit the music. So with all in, this is how it sounds like. Okay, so, but what we have on the other end? On the other end, we have, because I wanted to master in the end, in the mix bus, on the mix bus, I have inserted. So let's just re-listen. I inserted. This is coming, this is something new. It's coming now with the Logic. You have the mastering assistant, and I just put a multiband compressor, as you could see it. Let me just show you, for example. Okay, so if you can see it, no compressor used on the individual tracks. I could, but I didn't. I wanted to leave it, as minimalistic as I can. So that's why on the stereo bus, right, I used multiband compressor and the mastering assistant. So these are all stock plugins. A little bit, compressing and choosing multibands, and then then with the mastering assistant, I mean, he did all the work. What I did, I changed a little bit because I felt the need a little bit more of bass. I excite a little bit with the loudness and even with the wideness. So I wanted to check because I just saw that it was lacking of, the bass. And and now after I did this experiment, I thought to myself, okay, this is cool, but does this sound good? Because one thing you have to understand, and I had to understand, is that when you're doing a composition, you are working with sounds you get used to. You think that those sounds are really sounding good, and your ear is just get used with that, with the composition, with the sound, and you have the impression that that sound is just amazing. It's just perfect. So this mastering also, when I finished, I thought to myself, it sounds good because my ears obviously were already used with this composition. But then I thought to myself, okay, but I want to see now with my ears used with this composition, with this sounding, with this performance, how about trying just on the mix bus to mix a little bit using other plugins, not the base, stock plugins. So I went to my OTT and with the Ozone. So without further ado, let me just show you how that one is. So without anything, it sounds like this. Already the levels are very low. But then I put the OTT. Right, and then with the Ozone. So I had the OTT, right? And then I went with the Ozone. And with the Ozone, EDM, and then I just played a little bit with, it didn't do much, quite sincerely, so it was already well balanced, mix. Now let me just take you back to the other one. And now back to this one. And yeah, I was shocked because I was thinking, oh, the stock is sounding good, and it still sounds good, but still with the Ozone and with the OTT, it's different. And one thing is that generally in electronic music and so many other genres, the low end is what is give us the impression that we can say that the mix is good, professional or not.